Legends of Music ඉරිදා සවස 2:30ට.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. I'm Zeenat Mustafa. Good evening, Kalsha.
Good evening, Zeenat. Just before we start off, let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
A revelation to court by the FCID on Namal Rajapaksa's Gowers Corporation deal. D.A. Rajapaksa Museum case against Gotabaya Rajapaksa also to be taken up for hearing daily. I will reveal everything. A statement from former Minister Sajjan Gunawardena.
ඉදිරියට මම කියන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඒ කාලවකවානුව ආවම මේකේ සත්‍ය මොකද්ද සත්‍ය නැති මොකද්ද.
Court orders for the LPT Pradesh Sabha election to be held immediately. Powers of Minister Kabir requested to be transferred to Minister Kiryala, a revelation from the Gajasavya organization.
And now news in details. President Maithripala attended several events in Jaffna today. The Ratavenuing Ekata Sitimu program in the Jaffna district was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena at the Jaffna public grounds today. The event was also attended by several MPs and ministers, including the Governor of the Northern Province, Dr. Suren Raghavan.
Out of the past 4.5 years, 4 years was spent by our parliamentarians to formulate a new constitution. They wasted millions of rupees. Parliamentarians and constitutional experts wasted millions and travelled overseas to analyse foreign constitutions. I had told them to abolish the executive presidency before and after the elections, as well as during the past 4.5 years. However, for 4.5 years, those in government did nothing. That is not my fault. I never obstructed them. So what did they do for the past 4.5 years? They deceived the people of the north. The people of the south were given the impression that the country was going to be divided. I am not involved in such sins. The government as well as the opposition is now talking about formulating a new constitution. If the country is to go forward, we need a new constitution. We should abolish the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. The 19th Amendment to the Constitution created 3 leaders who have power in the country. It reduced the powers of the President, increased the powers of the Prime Minister, and increased the powers of the Speaker. All independent commissions are being controlled by him. Therefore, such commissions are not independent. When there are 3 leaders in the country, everything is a mess. But now the question is, who will be the Prime Minister who would agree to abolish the 19th Amendment? These amendments should take place within the Parliament itself. The government and the opposition should join hands to solve this crisis. If they fail to do this, we cannot govern this country properly. There is an upcoming presidential election. However, the present government still has time to solve this issue. The government and the opposition should focus their attention on this. It would be best if the present government solves this issue so that the government that comes to power in 2020 can fulfill their responsibilities. I will support this to the best of my ability.
Now, as mentioned in your headlines for tonight, the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division today informed court Krish Transworks Colombo Private Limited had never given any money as a sponsorship for a rugby tournament as claimed before. Newsfirst Sulfik Farzan reports.
I'm standing right opposite the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division in Colombo, just hundreds of meters away from the controversial Krish project site. Now today the Police Financial Crimes Investigations Division filed a B report with court on this controversial project. Now the Police Financial Crimes Investigations Division is investigating the 4.3 acre land leased by Krish Transworks Colombo Private Limited. Now in 2012, Krish Transworks Colombo Private Limited transfers 50 million rupees to the local HSBC bank account of Nimal Hebasiri Pereira. Now, investigators say that when they are investigating this said bank account and transactions, the detectives found out the 2012 purchase of a land located at number 7 upon 1 Goa Street, Colombo 5. Now, The business person called Nimal Hemasiri Pereira, along with another land that he owned, had wanted to purchase the land and used 188 million rupees to purchase both lands and given the money to an individual known Kishin Ramachand Bhutani. The FCID said during this time, Nimal Hemasiri Pereira had overdrafts at certain banks and this payment had actually settled the payments. Now, the FCID says that there is no evidence to prove that Krish Transworks Colombo Private Limited made a sponsorship payment for a sports tournament, especially a rugby tournament in Colombo. The FCID says there is no trace of it. Why? Because for the purchase of those two lands of 188 million rupees, 70 million rupees had come from Krish Transworks Colombo Private Limited, and the remaining 107 plus million rupees had come from a company called Sabre Vision Holdings based in Singapore, of which the ultimate beneficiary is Nimal Hemasiri Pereira. Now, the FCID told court today that when they tried to record a statement from this individual, he had given false information about the transactions as well as this account in question. Now, when this whole issue came to light, the individuals in question had sold this land not for 188 million rupees or something above. They had sold it for 725 million rupees. That's right, 725 million rupees. And the FCID themselves questioned, could this be money laundering? Is this an attempt to launder money for someone or some entity? Now, when detectives are tracing these accounts, they found out that Sabre Vision Holdings got money from different accounts, from a bank in Germany, the Netherlands, as well as from another company. Now, what's even more interesting is one of those companies, or two of those companies, is EN Projects and Aspen Medical. They were listed as contractors and medical equipment suppliers for two hospital projects in Colombo, in Hambantota and Nuwara under the Ministry of Health. EN Projects had requested 46 million rupees for the Hambantota Hospital project and 39 million rupees for the Nuwara project. Now, there was a condition that 15% of the cost needs to be borne by the Sri Lankan government, and cabinet approval was given for that. Now, what's more interesting is this. In 2013, these two companies, EN Projects and Sabre Vision Holdings, reportedly come to Sri Lanka to sign a MOU where they would be awarding 3 million euros to Sabre Vision Holdings for consultancy services done for certain projects. However, here's the catch. The Immigration and Immigration Department, as well as other authorities investigating this case, found no trace of the said people from those two companies coming to Colombo to sign that MOU. What they say is these people never came to Sri Lanka during that period, and therefore this document is also suspicious and there's fraud and corruption as well. This brings the question to light. Are the investigations taking place in a hasty manner? It appears that the investigations are taking place in an expeditious manner, and those who are responsible for fraud, corruption in this country, including the central bank treasury bond scam, must be brought before the law, and that is what the people and the entire country wants right now. Zulfikar Farzan from opposite the FCID in Colombo.
Former Minister Sajjan Gunawardena convened a media briefing yesterday.
We cannot forget the past. I too was part of that history, and the political mistakes we made in the past cannot be rectified. What is the ambition of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna? Winning elections and protecting a certain generation. I hope to engage in politics in the future, but I have already decided not to join the port tour. I know a lot of things that other people do not know. I took this decision based on that information that I know. In the future, when that time comes, I will reveal the truth because of all of this. I know what happened better than all the heroes of the Podujana Perumuna. I will not betray the people who were close to me, but I know what is correct and what is politically wrong. And I know what is happening here on the inside.
Former Minister Sajjan Gunawardena also spoke about the political parties in the country.
This country has only two parties for their future, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the United National Party. The solution offered by the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna is one that will protect and pass on political power from one generation of a certain group to another generation, and how they are to pass time in the interim. This is something that I know personally.
Meanwhile, 2 parliamentary seats of the UPFA have been left vacant.
The 2 seats have been left vacant by the demise of Kurunegala District MP Salinda Dissanayake and the resignation of Kurunegala District MP Shantha Bandara. Shantha Bandara is the candidate who is next on the list of candidates who won the highest number of votes in the Kurunegala district after Salinda Dissanayake. However, Shantha Bandara, who is already holding a nationalist seat in parliament, resigned from his position in hopes of being reappointed to the UPFA parliamentary seat left vacant by the demise of Kurunegala district MP Salinda Dissanayake.
The party informed me to resign from the position that I was appointed to by the party because I have now fulfilled the criteria required to be appointed to parliament as a member elected by the people. If someone objects to that, I do not believe that the objection can be justified. If any injustice takes place, I hope to take the matter to court. That decision will be taken today by the officer in charge of appointments. He will name them and then send the list to the National Commissioner for it to be gazetted.
නෑ අපේ තියෙන ලංකාවේ තියෙන නීතිය අනුව චන්ද්‍රිකා කුමාරතුංග මැතිණියව ජාතික ලැයිස්තුවෙන් පත් කරන්න බෑ.
Sri Lanka Freedom Party MPs who entered parliament through the national list of the party and later joined other parties have been the focus of discussion during recent times.
Dilan Pereira and SP Dissanayake, who were defeated at the last general election, entered parliament through the UPFA national list. They are now members of the SLPP. If some MPs have violated the party discipline, action will be taken against anyone who has done so. I cannot mention names. We have discussed at the party headquarters and created a system where disciplinary inquiry can be conducted and actions can be taken against anyone who violates the party's rules and regulations. Accordingly, after the decision of the Central Working Committee is made known, the necessary steps can be taken.
Leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and leader of the opposition Mahinda Rajapaksa expressed the following views in Colombo today on disciplinary inquiries.
පක්ෂය අනන්‍යතාවයකුත් තියෙනවා. පැත්තකින් අයියයි මල්ලි වගේ. සජ්ජාති පක්ෂ නම් කියන්නේ ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයත් එක්ක අපිට තරඟ කරන්න එච්චර මේ අභියෝගයක් නැහැ කියලා. බය මොකද එච්චර? ජනපක්ෂ ඔබතුමාලා සහයෝගය දුන්නොත් පොදු අපේක්ෂකේ වෙනස් වෙනවද? නැහැ කිසි විටක. අපි පත් කරන කිසි කෙනෙක් වෙනස් කිරීමට අපි සූදානම් නැත. තීන්දුවක් ගත්තම තීන්දුවේ ඉන්නවා. හෙට එකයි අද උදේ එකයි. අවුරුදු දෙක කරන්න බෑනේ.
The United National Party has decided to take disciplinary action against Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathera and Vijayadasa Rajapaksa.
The party represented by Venerable Athuraliya Thero has informed us to take disciplinary action in this regard. We will take decisions accordingly.
Colombo district.
Vijayadasa Rajapaksa was elected from the Colombo district. Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathero was included in the national list. Both Vijayadasa Rajapaksa and Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathero have violated the party's constitution. Therefore, the party has decided to take disciplinary action against them. As the first step, we will send show of cause letters to them today.
Minister Sujiva Senasinghe, in a letter to the General Secretary of the UNP, Minister Akhila Viraj Karyavasam, has questioned him how a group had held discussions with the President on abolishing the executive presidency without prior approval from the Central Committee.
In the letter, Minister Senasinghe questions the General Secretary of the party on how such a discussion was held with the President without the approval of the party's Central Committee or the parliamentary group. He had also questioned the General Secretary on whether disciplinary action will be taken against a group that participated in this discussion. Minister Senasinghe goes on to note that such a proposal being presented at a time when the road is clear for a candidate of the party to win the presidential election is a betrayal of the members of the party and the party supporters.
Now, the Legal Secretary of the UNP, Nishanka says the presidential candidate of the UNP should be named only after the Election Commission declares a presidential election.
This is the constitution of the UNP. Article 9 of the party constitution states, nominations for the presidential election, quote, the nomination board will decide on the candidate and this decision will have to be ratified by the working committee of the party, end quote. That means that first the Elections Commission must announce the presidential election. It is only after the election is announced that the working committee will convene. We can do it after the election is gazetted or even before the election is gazetted. We can hold discussions on the matter and decide on it in the future.
There is no specific time frame for that. The best example is the presidential election in 2005. During the 2005 presidential election, we named Ranil Wickremesinghe as the presidential candidate at the party convention a year before the elections. At the party convention, we decided that we should name Ranil Wickremesinghe as the presidential candidate and strengthen his leadership. So nowhere in the constitution of the UNP or the traditions of the party does it dictate that the party must wait till the dates for the election is announced or the election is gazetted to name a presidential candidate.
Attorney at law Upul Jayasuriya, chairman of the United Lawyers Association, convened a media briefing today.
There are
more than 22 vacancies in the Central Working Committee of the UNP. All appointments are made by the leader of the party. So where is the democracy? Who are they trying to fool? If democracy is not practiced within the party, how can they establish democracy within a society? If they are to save the party from crashing, Ranil Wickremesinghe ideally should have retired from the party. This is the bitter truth. If this does not happen, the UNP's defeat in the upcoming presidential election will be inevitable. Ranil Wickremesinghe should withdraw from his respective position in a dignified manner and welcome the second-tier leader of the party to come forward and decide on the next candidate. A milk packet has an expiry date and one cannot use it after the date of expiry. One is disgusted to even touch the milk packet after it expires. On the other hand, there is some value to such expired products. Such expired products are valued by worms, cockroaches and insects. Do not let the UNP to fall into such a desperate situation. I urge the Prime Minister to hand over his leadership to the second-tier leaders of the party and to step down in a dignified manner.
කාටද ඒ වටිනාකම තියෙන්නේ? පණුවන්ට, නිලමැස්සන්ට, කැරපොත්තන්ට වටිනාකමක් තියෙනවා. ඒ පණුව නිලමැස්ස කරපොත්ත ටික ඔක්කොම ගිහලා කිරිපැට්ටුව වටා කරකන. ගන්න පුළුවන් දේ හොයාගන්න. එවන් තත්වයකට මේ පක්ෂය පත් කරන්න ඉඩ දෙන්න එපා. ප්‍රසිද්ධියේ මේ ඉල්ලීම කරන්නේ කරුණා කරලා මෙව නායකත්වය දෙවන පෙළට බාර දීලා මෙයින් ඉවත් වෙන්න කියලා ගෞරවනීය ලෙසින්.
Chairman of the UNP, Kabir Hashim, said priority should be given to the decision of the people when appointing a candidate.
The UNP functions according to the people's needs. We provide what the people request. You can't do things that are of interest of a family or a group of friends. We will not surrender before pressure. The UNP will take a decision according to the pulse of the people.
And in headline-making news, the Gajasavya Samavadi Youth Front convened a media briefing today.
We have received information that Ranil Wickremesinghe has written to the President requesting certain subjects under the ministries held by Kabir Hashim and Mangala Samaravira to be assigned to other individuals. Ranil Wickremesinghe has begun his usual game of seeking revenge on the leaders who stand for the opinion of the people and is against his personal opinion. Who are they trying to reassign these subjects to? According to the information we received, they are asking for these subjects to be assigned to Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla. Lakshman Kiriyalla is a person embroiled in many controversial projects, including the Central Expressway, and has been criticized by many people. So we would like to ask, are they trying to assign these subjects to such a person? We would like to state that as UNP party members, we will stand against these acts of revenge against the leaders of the people who stand for the opinion of the people, and we will work towards protecting them.
We are crossing off to a short commercial break. Stay with News First.
We thank you for giving us the responsibility of realizing your dream. We are ready to make your dream come true.
Abhiman Varam, empowering the dreams of the next generation.
Log on to www.abhimanvaram.lk. Call us on 0777 60040.
Abhiman Varam, empowering the dreams of the next generation.
Main sponsor Anka Kiri Edat Adat Hetat Hondamade Pamanai.
To the world, the lungs of Mother Nature. Let us protect the source of our life in hope of replenishing the Ella forest ravaged by the recent forest fire, fulfilling our national responsibilities. Gamad the V-Force takes on another challenge. Tree planting project at the Ella Forest Reserve, 1st of September at 9 a.m.
Gamad V-Force.
Welcome back to the news. The project director of the new Kalaniya Bridge, Darshika Nojini Samarakon, was summoned before the Presidential Commission investigating into acts of fraud and corruption at state institutions. She was summoned for the investigations conducted into illegal recruitments done at the Road Development Authority when Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla was the minister in charge of highways.
The project director of the new Kalani Bridge said that 5 people recruited by the Road Development Authority as public relations officers were assigned to her project. During her testimony, she revealed that a Thero was also among these officers. 4 other individuals were recruited as public relations officers subsequently. The project director said that these officers did not report to work for the project and were later absorbed to the minister's office staff. However, these officials were paid an allowance of 25,000 rupees from the funds allocated for the new Kalani Bridge project. These officials were paid this allowance for a period of 1 year. However, the director of the project said that the JICA institution that is funding the project has not yet reimbursed this amount paid as allowances. Senior officials of the Road Development Authority had previously testified before the Presidential Commission on the illegal recruitment of employees to the project. During these testimonies, it was revealed that the recruitments were carried out based on the orders of Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla and his daughter, and they were in violation of the institution's circulars. A group of MPs, including ministers from the UNP, met with the Prime Minister today at Temple Trees.
Chairman of the UNP, Kabir Hashim, Secretary Akila Viraj Karyavasam, Ravi Karunanayaka, Ranjit Madhuma Bandara, Sarath Fonseca, Daya Gamage and Vajrabe Wardana were among them. The following views were expressed by the MPs post discussions which was held for around 2 hours. What we most discussed is to not have any split inside the party and to make sure everyone wins in the upcoming election on how we should work in unity, and we will meet up again on the 6th and we will extend talks about how the unity in the party is to be ensured and the future victories. Everyone has agreed, everyone is united. We all should head forward ensuring unity inside the party.
Ravi Karunanayaka අමාත්‍යවරයාගේ නිවසේ මේ තානාපතිවරුන් සඳහා රාජ්‍ය භෝජන සංග්‍රහය පැවැත්වුවා කියලා මේ ආරංචිනා ඒක පක්ෂයේ සම්බන්ධයක් තියනවාද මොකද්ද? නෑ ඒ අත්‍යවශ්‍යම.
Actually, as the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, yes, he had invited the ambassadors for a dinner. For that, even the party leader, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Rajitha Senaratne were present. There is no issue in that.
සම්බන්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ.
2 newly constructed Udagamana projects were declared open in Kalutara district today. The events were held under the auspices of Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Minister Sajjan.
The 2 villages constructed in Bulat Sinhala Kalutara have been named as Vasana Udagama and Set Sisilagama. The 256th and 266th villages of the Udagamana project were constructed at a cost of 41.6 million rupees. Under the guise of free education, we have in our country a preschool system that is irregular and charges money. Preschool education must be regularized. I would like to state that when we are creating a great political development revolution in November and December, we will regularize the preschool system in the country. provide facilities to all preschools, create a group of teachers paid by the government, and together with the parents and the government, provide lunch to preschool students and create a healthy generation of children in our motherland.
සෞඛ්‍ය සම්පන්න දරු පරපුරක් අපි අපේ මාතෘභූමියේ බිහි කරන අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා. තව මාස දෙකකින් එන
Sajjan Premadasa will contest the upcoming presidential election as the candidate of the United National Party. He will also emerge victorious. I would like to state that he will definitely win the presidential election as the presidential candidate of the entire nation.
ජයග්‍රහණය කරනවා කියන කාරණය මම කියන්න කැමතියි. රටේ මිනිස්සු තෝරගන්න.
The people of the country have selected Minister Sajjan Premadasa. There is no point if anyone else selects a candidate. We must give the people what they ask for. We must embark on this journey with the party at the helm. The leaders of the party should understand this and accustom themselves to let go of power. We can't take any of this when we leave.
මේවා තේරුම් අරගෙන බලය අතාරින්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් අපි හැමදේම කරා යන්නේ.
The 42nd Annual Convention and Executive of the Year Awards ceremony of the Capital Maharajah organization was held at the Resplendent Stein Studios in Ratmalana. General Manager of A.F. Jones Exporters Ceylon Private Limited, Shamir Rasuldeen, won the coveted award of Executive of the Year for 2018-2019.
This event provides a unique opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of the executives of the Capital Maharajah Organization Limited, who serve the people in many industries. The chief guest at the 42nd Annual Convention was the immediate past Auditor General, Gamini Vijayasinghe.
More than 40 audit reports were prepared during the year 2018. These reports reveal fraud and corruption that amounts to billions of rupees. Although the bond scam was highlighted due to political reasons, none of the other reports were considered. I believe it was the Sirasa Media Network that provided the most coverage in this regard. Therefore, I respect Sirasa. It is the media's duty to take these reports to the public, and if the government fails to focus on these matters, at least the public should be informed of this. Media institutions have the responsibility of highlighting corruption and financial fraud that waste public funds. I believe this service will in turn be a blessing to your organization for its future success.
මාධ්‍ය ආයතන වලට ඒ වගකීම ඉෂ්ට කිරීම මා හිතන්නේ ඔබට ඔබගේ ව්‍යාපාර සාර්ථක කර ගැනීම සඳහා ජනතා ආශිර්වාද ලැබෙන ක්‍රියාවලියක් ඇතර මා දකිනවා.
I know you mentioned that there were over 40 audit reports that were released by your department last year alone, all amounting to billions and billions of rupees in fraud and corruption. Now, the bond scam itself, we know that at the moment the bond scam occurred, there was nearly $1 billion in losses, and this was just one bond, a treasury bond scam. But then the cumulative loss over the years it's incalculable. Can this ever be returned? Is there any hope of that ever happening?
Question is very simple, but answer is very difficult. සිදුවා අලාභය නැවත අය කර ගැනීම
The Auditor General is not responsible in recovering the losses. His duty is to disclose information. Recovering the losses is the responsibility of a system that goes beyond my control. The Parliament, the Attorney General, the Judicial System, the Bribery Commission. It's now up to these institutions. However, I believe the losses from the bond scam cannot be recovered for at least another 30 years. This is the truth. Therefore, we will have to suffer this punishment for the next 30 years. This is the reality.
The highlight of the event was the selection of the Executive of the Year, where 5 executives of the Capital Maharajah Group were nominated for the coveted title. The nominees this year were News Director at Newsfirst, Gayan Sampath Somachandra, Indika Geekyanage of Eslon Lanka, CEO of Kevilton Electrical Products, Nalin Javardhana, General Manager of A.F. Jones, Shamir Rasuldeen, and Group Human Resources Manager, Ravi Gamage. Shamir Rasuldeen was crowned the Executive of the Year for 2018-2019.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 42nd winner of the Executive of the Year is Shamir Rasuldeen.
Ambition is the path to success. Persistence is the vehicle you arrive in. In a gold mine, executives, you can be in a gold mine and say that you're in a gold mine, and if you do not mine for gold, you won't strike gold. You have to work hard. You have to work with commitment. You have to make sure that you have the passion and drive in you to achieve success. A lot of people may tell you, reach the stars, you will at least end up on a treetop. I am telling you all today, do not do that. If you have to reach the stars, touch the stars, feel the stars, and tell those people who are on a treetop, guess what I did? I am successful. Ladies and gentlemen, every opportunity is out there. You have to go and get it.
The International Business Day of the Faculty of Management and Finance of the University of Colombo took place at the Professor W.M. Jayaratne Conference Hall today.
Called De Novo 19, the event was organized by the Department of International Business. Many distinguished guests were present at the event.
Garbage you cannot bring into a country. Why? There's a separate convention called the Basel Convention. Under the Basel Convention, garbage cannot come to a country. If a country is willing to get garbage, the country must give an undertaking to the exporting country, I am willing to take the garbage. No country does it. Now the funny part is, goods came as used mattresses. Any restriction on used mattresses coming into the country? Not much. Any country will say, yeah, used mattresses, no problem. Now we caught the case. Now we have so much of garbage inside. Can you see? Right? They say that they have this X, Y, Z, all kind of material inside. Human waste, everything. Yes, true. Now, what are you going to do with it? You got to ship it back, right? Obviously. You cannot keep it. You have to ship it back. How are you going to ship it back? Under what are you going to say in your declaration? What are you going to say? Garbage. The moment you say garbage, the country that has already sent it here will say, no sir, we are not bringing garbage.
Sri Lanka has what's called territorial sea, and it extends to around 12 miles out of Sri Lanka's coastline. Beyond that, we have another 12 miles, which is called the contiguous sea. And that, as Achal would well know perhaps, gives us certain legal rights. We have customs rights, for instance. We have the ability to ensure that sanitation is protected in those areas. And beyond that, up to 200 miles from our coastline is what we call our exclusive economic zone. Our exclusive economic zone. Now that's where the real game is, because that gives us sovereign rights over natural, living and non-living resources.
The Supreme Court today issued an order on the National Elections Commission to immediately hold an election to elect members for the Alpitia Pradeshia Sabha. The Supreme Court delivered the order with regard to a petition filed by the Secretary of the Democratic United National Front against rejecting its nominations for the Alpitia Pradeshia Sabha at the recent local government elections.
Now, this order was delivered by Justices Prasanna Jayawardena, Vijit Malalgoda and Murdu Fernando. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News tonight. More news follows on our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. Bringing you the news, I'm Tharushikumar Singha.
And I'm Zeenat Musafat. Good night and take care.